It is me. 1, 2, 3, it's me. 1, 2, 3, it is me, brother runner. We all be 1, 2, 3. It is me, brother runner. We all be number. This is one of many live We All Be podcasts. I'm your host for this empowerment segment, Brother Ron. I have recently been doing live broadcasting from the We All Be TV platform on YouTube, sometimes via Google Hangouts. And right now we're using Google Hangouts. Yeah, I've been kind of starting late, 10 minutes after, but we got a lot to talk about as always. This is a very unique time to be alive. I hope that you are enjoying your journey, which is your life. Your life is what you make of it. It is your life. This is your movie. This is your moment. You are the director, the screenwriter, the lead actor or actress. You're the headliner. You're the legend. You decide the genre of your movie. This is your Lifetime movie, not like Lifetime, the network, but this is your movie in your lifetime. Make it happen. Make whatever you want. You desire real, manifest it. Your ideas are powerful. Your dreams are powerful. Have dreams of your own. Have ideas of your own. Make them real. What are you waiting for? You are responsible for you. And we're going to talk about a lot of great things today. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, for being faithful listeners. I got a assignment for everybody. Share this information with your networks. Let people know. Grow your net worth by sharing this information with your networks. Because like Baba Gregory always knew, Baba Dick Gregory, information is power. Good information is good power. Bad information is bad power, but power is power. And like I always say, knowledge is the currency of the universe. I'm just trying to get the chat room up. If you feel like you have benefited from the words of Mr. Hurd, please feel free to donate, super chat. I want to shout out Sean Covington for joining the Patreon movement for We All Be. Y'all can join that as well, or make a one-time payment or a recurring payment via PayPal. And all that stuff is available in the subscription box below. This video broadcast on YouTube on the We All Be TV channel. You can reach me at weallbe@gmail.com. You can also, reach me at r2c2h2@gmail.com. I want to shout out Brother Art Stanton for supporting the We All Be information movement and for also calling in with some interesting information. I'm sorry. I'm not doing live call-ins right now, but we will get to that very soon, sooner than y'all think. Our Stanton called me last week for the last podcast concerning Haiti and Oregon with some interesting information. But I just want to keep on marinating. I hope everybody has benefited from what's been going on with the platform, with these live broadcasts, these podcasts. And I've been getting a lot of great positive feedback. Thank you all for taking the time to listen, because your time is one of your most valuable assets. When you invest time in something or someone, you can't get that back. That's one of the higher appreciations you could show is by giving people your time while you're on this planet. And I just want to thank you all for allowing me to invest in you, because you are very important. Because we all be in it to win it. And we need to go back to that village concept. Not that we need a Messiah leadership complex, but the village concept, not the Black Messiah complex, but the Black village concept. We need to bring that back to the table. We need to hold ourselves as individuals accountable, as well as a collective accountable. We don't need, it's too much distraction. Like, the only award show I actually look at are the Oscars. I just like movies, and I'm just curious, because a lot of times, like for example, the movie of the year is not necessarily the most successful movie that gets selected as the movie of the year via box office sales, but what is the political climate of the time? Because everybody know that Avatar should have won for Best Picture of the Year, not Hurt Locker. I haven't seen Hurt Locker yet. I have nothing against, but Avatar, I believe, is still the highest grossing movie of all time. It holds up now. I mean, James Cameron is a genius, but they allow his ex-wife to win as best director and best picture, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, for Hurt Locker. And she did the movie Detroit that was based on the 1967 Detroit riots of last year and the events that took place at the hotel. And I saw the movie, and it was done. I mean, it was, for what it was watchable, and it was disturbing. But, you know, real life is more disturbing than fiction a lot of times. Well, facts can be stranger than fiction, but my understanding, it was a lot of historical inaccuracies in the movie Detroit. And just like this new movie out, Steven Spielberg blessing, called The Post, which deals with the Washington Post and them exposing or aiding in the exposure of the Watergate scandal. And what people got to understand, Meryl Streep plays the heiress and the matriarch or the owner of the Post. And I think Tom Hanks plays the editor, Ben Bradley, I believe his name. But the woman who owned the Post, Catherine Graham, look what happened to her husband. He was committed to a mental institution at one point, and they alleged that he committed suicide at their home. I think he shot himself in the tub or something. You gotta look that up. But it's just all types of connections to the Kennedy assassination, to U.S. intelligence. The Washington Post held significant U.S. intelligence connections. So stop believing all these movies. Movies are propaganda. Even books lie because people write books. So just because they put it in a book, take a look. It's in our book. It's our own line. It's in your mind. Just because they put this stuff in a book does not mean it's accurate or true. Just because they put it on a big screen and it got a big name director directed the movie and all these big actors don't mean it's true. This world is all about deception. But what I love about 2018 is that the fake is allowed to bring the real, because it's not really fake in the sense. What it is, what they're doing is they're mixing a lot of facts in with fiction. Like, you know, you gotta see. What's been on my mind is believe it all, but learn how to know. Repeat, believe it all, but develop the ability to know, to discern. It's not even important what they say, he said, she said. Believe it all, but learn how to discern for facts, for truth, for knowledge. Beliefs are interesting. Beliefs tend to manifest realities. Your beliefs is not beliefs are more powerful in this world than actual facts or the truth. We all know that 2 + 2 is 4, but if you believe that 2 + 2 is 5, you are a dangerous person. You are a very committed person. So I don't argue with people about their religious beliefs. You believe what you want to believe, as long, excuse me, I'm sorry, as long as you are not, you know, intruding on me in my space and trying to control me and manipulate me. You believe what you want to believe, and I respect that. No, I respect that. If it makes you a more productive and better human being to deal with, by all means, believe. I had recently, when I went out to LA for the first time, Los Angeles, back in April, I had allowed the Scientology people in Hollywood to kidnap me and take me to their temple or to their religious headquarters. And it was a very fascinating experience. I have pictures. I survived. It was fascinating because you hear things about Scientology, and sometimes you just want to know for yourself, firsthand primary experience. So I have actually, you know, went to the Scientology's place of business out there in Hollywood, and, you know, a lot of celebrities, a lot of movie stars, a lot of people in that field, like, you know, like people like Tom Cruise and John Travolta are well-known Scientology people or Scientologists. So they got you know, places all over the world. And the person who founded Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard, is arguably the most prolific and most successful science fiction writer of all time. So this guy, who was a prolific science fiction writer, created a religion known as Scientology. And a lot of people claim that he also was U.S. naval intelligence. And I had brought that up with the people at the Scientology temple And they laugh, ha ha ha, yeah, 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 ha 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 ha. You know, they had a bunch of Beckys there. You know, Beckys, y'all, a lot of Beyonce fans, Beckys, you know, blonde hair, blue-eyed white girls. They were throwing them at me. You know how us brothers like, you know, Becky's like, some folks like candy. No, I'm just joking, but you know, for real, for real. But anyhow, there's a lot to pick from, but don't get too distracted by all the stuff. Don't let your emotions get the best of your logic in this season. In 2018, learn how to get better understanding of your logic. Try to let your rational mind prevail, but also keep an open mind, because a lot of things that may sound absurd or this really illogical is really honest and truthful. And what has happened is that we have been lied and conditioned to receive lies better than we could discern truth by this system, which does us no good as people. This system is all about using people as lab rats and guinea pigs. So that's very important. So I'm just warming up, y'all. We're going to get started with the show. Please promote this link of the show in your networks. So much to talk about today. I'm very excited. I'm very excited, actually. Like I said, I'm very, it's very good to find your tribe, to be in your element. And I'm really enjoying, like, I love people watching. I'm an artist. I love the people watch, but also I love the people watch online in terms of I really am fascinated by the intellectual property and content that people produce online. I don't really look at a lot of TV, and the internet is my TV, and I look at a lot of YouTube videos. I love the fact that you could pray to your search engine to get an answer from God. The search engine is the God. You know what I'm saying? You pray to Google, and Google give you a direct answer. You can ask for anything. Anything you want to know is at your fingertips. But at the same time, what is there to know? What is there to know? It's so much more stuff out there to understand. And a lot of stuff, it's interesting because a lot of us want to understand stuff outside of us, but a lot of us don't understand the stuff inside of us because we're so complex and we're fascinating beings. But we hold the key to our salvation. You hold the key to your liberation. You don't need nobody to tell you how to be liberated. You teach yourself how to be liberated, and know that true freedom has no safety net. If you want true freedom, there is no safety net. There's no social security in that. There are no universal health care. Freedom is freedom. But you can't create the world you want if you embrace that freedom. Freedom, fear, maybe can exist in the same space, but God and fear cannot exist in the same space. So we're going to talk about a couple of things here. Get ready, people. Get ready. Going to have some fun. Not here to hurt nobody. Just here to reach and teach and preach in our own way. Like I said, in 2018, we got to embrace that mailman theory. Don't follow the mailman or mail person around on his or her route. Just get the mail that was meant for you in your mailbox and develop your discernment to know which is junk mail and which is useful mail. Learn how to develop your discernment. I don't need nobody follow me around, because you follow me around too closely, you might be disappointed because I'm a human being. So, I like human being stuff. If y'all human beings out there, y'all feel me. It's stuff that we like to do. Not trying to hide, not trying to be a hypocrite, just trying to embrace my contradictions, because we all have contradictions. And just because you have contradictions does not make you a hypocrite. A hypocrite in my mind is a person that denies that they have contradictions, that they deny their complexity. And sometimes you got to feed your beast, give into your cravings. I always tell people I'm not interested in destroying my demons, because when you destroy things that are a part of you, you're destroying yourself. I'm more interested in making peace with my demons so I can do my God work. Because you look at everybody in the Bible that did some God work, very dysfunctional people. Because we're just ordinary people, some shit like that. But anyway, I got here as a title: Jay-Z, Van Jones, Yo Gotti, and more. It's like hip hop has dominated the conversation this past week. Hip hop culture. We talked about China banning hip hop culture and tattoos in their media outlets and platform. Then you had the Jay-Z interview with Brother Van Jones on, I believe, the debut of his Van Jones show or Van Jones show on CNN. I guess Van Jones is like the new Anderson Cooper of CNN. I mean, he's the black Anderson. He's the best of both. I don't know. But we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Yo Gotti situation in Memphis. Yo Gotti puts on for his city. But all his city does is put him down. He puts on for his city. Yo Gotti is consistent in spreading Memphis love throughout the land and around the globe. And he's a rapper, of course, and rapping and hip hop is not everybody's cup of tea. But I want to talk about what has happened in Memphis recently with Yo Gotti. The Shelby County schools put up a billboard in the community with Yo Gotti's likeness and image on it. And it on a busy street, and it says something to the fact that Yo Gotti, a product of public schools, he is a proud graduate of Tresvant High School here in Memphis, Tennessee. And within 24 hours, the image was taken off the billboard because some people were complaining via social media that he was nobody to be celebrated. I dare you put a picture of a rapper who graduated from public schools as a picture of success for people to aspire to who go to public schools in Memphis and the Shelby County, Tennessee. And I have my own thoughts about that. I'm going to share it with you all. Here it goes. But like I said, promote this to your networks, this channel, We All Be TV. Our goal is to get over 100,000 subscribers because we got the substance. And later on, I had a chance, I don't know if y'all been keeping up. There's a lot of things going on in Memphis, but basketball star Lorenzen Wright, his wife was extradited from California to Memphis to face charges of murder, that she was in a conspiracy to murder basketball star Lorenzen Wright, her longtime lover, boyfriend, and husband. She's actually several years older than Lorenzen. She met him when he was in high school. She was in her 20s when she started messing around with Lorenzen, who was not even 18 at the time. But that's another story. But we interviewed Lorenzen Wright's personal assistant, Dr. Wendy Wilson, and we're gonna make that available hopefully sometime tonight after this show. Had a chance to sit down and pick her brain. She's a very inspirational, fascinating sister. Her son is doing pretty well. He's been starred in roles. He's been in roles for shows like Queen Sugar and also another show. But we're going to be talking about her experience with Brother Lorenzen Wright and her thoughts about what happened to him and the fate of his wife, Cheryl Wright. It's very fascinating. So we got a lot of stuff for y'all that we're going to be posting very soon. And I want to thank you all once again for tuning in to the podcast. And I'm very excited. Like I said, this gives me light. It inspires me. And it helps me to plant or chart a course that's going to be very beneficial for a lot of people in this still very young year of 2018. So let's talk a little bit. Let me read a story here's a story about a guy named Yo Gotti. Okay. Enough with the comedy for now. Let me read the story about what happened to Yo Gotti. It comes from Channel 3 here in Memphis, News 3. Yo Gotti billboard for Shelby County School gets mixed reaction. This story was posted January 27th. It was updated yesterday. And here it goes. A billboard drawing attention to successful local high school graduates stirred opinions. Some positive, some not. Of people in Memphis this weekend. A billboard at South Bellevue and Walker featured local rapper Yo Gotti, aka Mario Mims, with the message, product of public schools, along with the Shelby County schools logo. Yo Gotti attended Tresvant High School. That raised questions for at least one parent of an SCS student. Ben Fraser wrote on his Facebook page, So dropping my son off at school this morning, I'm a tad bit confused by this billboard Shelby County Schools has up. Someone, please help me understand the intentions of this message. The post was shared more than 2,500 times, generating thousands of comments. Some were supportive of Yo Gotti's success and the image he portrayed for SCS graduates. On Tanita Hilliard, that it doesn't matter what or where you come from, you still can be successful, and that begins with graduating from high school. Others question why a rapper would be held up by the school district as a success story. Last year, Yo Gotti was named a person of interest after another rapper he's been feuding with was shot. And this comes from Nicole Clinton reacting to Ben Fraser's post. And his method of getting money is not what they teach in Memphis City School, or at least it shouldn't. There's plenty of regular successful people that went to Memphis City Schools and actually used education to excel in life. This comes from Kinston Farmer, probably a bad example of someone from a public school. None of his success came from his education. By late Friday, the billboard was removed. Apparently a short time after it went up. Shaquita McKinley, who lives nearby, say it looks like it took time to design such an intricate billboard campaign. So why not defend the decision to post the superstar in the first place? I don't understand why they took it down. Seems like there was some backlash, but that's an opportunity for dialogue, she said. She says while variety is needed, the controversial campaign does shine a light on what's relevant and real in the neighborhoods where some students live. And she says using that as a tool to inspire is genius. They love Yo Gotti. Embrace that. Recognize what it is that we are attracted to. She said, he's a product of Shelby County Schools. He's a product of the environment and he's world renowned. Shelby County Schools responded by pointing out that Yo Gotti has supported Fraser and schools in the area in the past. The billboard isn't an endorsement of Yo Gotti or his lyrics, but we wanted a figure in the community that kids could recognize and relate to. Gotti has done a lot of good in the Fraser community in the past and supported schools in the area. But Yo Gotti is only one Shelby County School graduate featured in the campaign. DJ Devin Steele, a Central High grad, is also featured. Shelby County Schools Superintendent Dorsey Hobson responded on Twitter that the district is always searching for ways to reach all of our constituents and highlight people who have benefited from public education. One of those graduates is Hobson himself, who graduated from Whitehaven High. Okay, that's the story from Channel 3, Memphis. And sorry for the bad read, but y'all can Google this stuff up. And it's a lot of social media, I guess, backlash because of that, and also support for Yo Gotti as well. I found that's fascinating. Yo Gotti, he loves his city. He puts on for his city, like Young Jeezy said. He puts on for his city. Yo Gotti is an ambassador of Memphis. And whether you like it or not, he's an ambassador of the unique culture of Memphis. I mean, Memphis is the home of the blues, the birthplace of rock and roll, and arguably so. Memphis is a very unique town and is situated in the middle of the country. Memphis is a distribution hub of the country. And not only do trucks, trains, cars, and all this stuff come through Memphis, but also cultural commerce. We on the Mississippi River. You got also down south, further down south, New Orleans. You go up to St. Louis, all the way up to Davenport, Iowa. A lot of culture has been traded among that river, right? And Memphis places with that culture and that history. And with that said, I thought that was fascinating that the folks made the decision to honor Yo Gotti in the first place. Because I believe that Yo Gotti got a key to the city maybe several years ago. There was even some controversy around that. I mean, I believe Rick Ross, the rapper, got a key to the city. There was no problem. I didn't hear no controversy. T.I., the rapper, got a key to the city. I think I remember 3 6 Mafia. I don't know, they would offer a key to the city or it was rescinded. But I'm saying there's always some controversy surrounding these people. Yo Gotti successful entertainer. He is very well respected by his peers, and he has a large following. And he is very much relevant, whether you agree with his lyrics or not. I mean, he's an entertainer. I mean, he's not a politician. He is not somebody like that. He's an entertainer. He has exposure. He has a large following, and I can see his appeal to young folk because that's who they market and they promote. And he did graduate from high school, so that should be a positive. But the thing about the education, he's a miracle because Memphis schools, Shelby County schools now, excuse me, you have young people graduating from high school. They can't read or write. I mean, they can't even read. They functional illiterates. So you got folks that can't even read their name on their diploma. I remember working as a substitute teacher at some of these schools, in middle schools and high schools. And like I remember sometimes a student would ask me, Mr. Ron, can I, be excused to go to the restroom? Can you give me a hall pass? And I tell them, why don't you write it up and I'll sign it? And then they'll tell me something, Mr. Ron, I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't really read or write that well. The reason why I'm in high school because I was socially promoted, because I didn't act a fool in class. I kept to myself. I didn't give my teacher a hard time. I didn't ask any questions. I was just quiet and they passed me. They actually do that. Not only in Memphis, but all over the place. So you got a miseducation system and indoctrination system where they don't expect that much out of our children. So for a Yo Gotti to come through that type of public schools, to that type of system where it's really a school to prison pipeline, where people like him, they come from places like him, are really nothing but collateral damage and fodder and cannon fodder for a system of exploitation and the soft bigotry of low expectations. He is a miracle that he can survive and not only survive, but also thrive. So that should be an inspiration for young people who have been spit upon, who have been neglected by a system that eats its young. Yo Gotti is the rose that grew from concrete, as far as I'm concerned. And what's interesting about Yo Gotti is that, I remember when I was in Ferguson back in 2014, a week after Mike Brown was killed, I was in Ferguson, Missouri. And I told folks up from Memphis, one of the first things they said, oh, Yo Gotti. They was shouting Yo Gotti. They was reciting his lyrics. These are the people that lived in St. Louis and the Ferguson area. Then you fast forward from 2014 to 2015, I'm on the west side of Baltimore, Memorial Day, 2015. I'm on the west side of West Baltimore, just talking with the friends of the brother Freddie Gray, who was killed by the police. And they had those riots. And Obama, the president, called black children who was responding to a hate-filled, neglectful system when it comes to black folk. He called these young people thugs. At the memorial they had at the site where he was brutally assaulted by the police. And I told him I was from Memphis. And the first thing they said, man, we love Memphis. We love Yo Gotti. We love Young Dolph. We love y'all, man. Y'all got some great guys. It took me actually going to Ferguson to learn about Young Dolph. I didn't know what a Young Dolph was until I went to Ferguson to see Tariq Nasheed do a screening of Hidden Colors and to help with an area. It was a brother from Alabama who lived in LA. who was part of Tariq's entourage, he told me about Young Dolph. So this is the power that these cats that come out of Memphis have. They got this type of power. Like I talked about before with Memphis hip hop history, A.L.L and MJG, they are true pioneers of Southern hip hop. I mean, I used to go down in Houston back in the 90s. I used to think that A-Ball, because you go all over Houston and they playing A-Ball MJG like they from there. But they from Orange Mound in Memphis, Tennessee. So everywhere I go, they love the Memphis music. I mean, 3-6 Mafia. Come on now. Shit, you go farther back to Isaac Hayes, Stax. You go, I mean, you think so many hip-hop songs have used Isaac Hayes songs as samples. People like Notorious B.I.G. their beats and stuff. So Memphis got a unique place in the culture, and it's a slap in the face for this man Yo Gotti, who always big up Memphis, to not to get the respect from the hometown that he deserved. He had this big birthday bash back, I believe, in July of this year at the FedEx Forum, right across the street from Claiborne Temple, where Dr. King used to come to Memphis and hold speeches and rallies, for the sanitation workers. So it's like Memphis history is just thriving and it's just pulsating. And Yo Gotti is now part of that narrative. And Memphis makes themselves feel ashamed of having Yo Gotti on a damn billboard when he's an actual graduate, a product of their damn questionable school system. It's the same town that allowed a statue of Nathan Bedford Forrest to be on display for 112 years on one of the most busiest streets in Memphis. This town allowed Nathan Bedford Forrest statue to have a prominent display years, but yet they cannot allow the face of Yo Gotti to be on a billboard for less than 24 hours before there's a mixed reaction, and they're so weak, jelly-spined people, so-called educated, responsible folks are so weak-minded and jelly-spined that they'll take his damn billboard thing down. What the hell's wrong with this picture? Okay, why not put up a picture of Machine Gun Kelly on a Shelby County school billboard? Machine Gun Kelly is a graduate of Central High School in Memphis. I believe either class of 1918 or 1919. Yeah, that Machine Gun Kelly. Don't shoot, G-man. Don't shoot. He didn't really say that. They made that bullshit up. So I'm not telling you, can't believe everything you read or what you see on the big screen. What I'm saying is he was a graduate. Machine Gun Kelly, the gangster, the bootlegger, the kidnapper, was a graduate of Shelby County schools. Okay, put him on a billboard. Shit, even Al Capone graduated from high school. Y'all don't know. See, they be telling y'all a lot of Al Capone graduated from high school up in Brooklyn. Shit, Donald Trump is a graduate of high school. I mean, it's fascinating. It's very hypocritical. But I just want to talk about that because, recently in New York, they just came to a decision. The mayor had a special committee to look into historical monuments in New York. The mayor of New York, Mayor de Blasio, after the Charlottesville situation this past fall. No, that was the summer, right? It was Charlottesville in August. But anyway, he formed a committee to look into some of the 800 monuments in the city to see if they were offensive or not, and should they be removed. And the only monument that was removed, because they kept the Columbus monument in Columbus Circle, even though we know about Columbus, but they decided to remove the Dr. J. Merriam Sims statue out of Central Park. And we talked about this on the podcast about who was, I hate to even call him doctor, but Merriam J. Sims. Look him up. He is considered the father of gynecology. But what he did was he tortured and mutilated black women and black babies. To call himself a scientist and a medical doctor. He would mutilate black women's bodies and not give them anesthesia. He would mutilate and destroy their babies. Did all types of horrible things to black women and their offspring. And yet he's considered an American hero. And so that was the only memorial that the committee decided to move from its original spot. and they're gonna put it in the cemetery where he's buried. He's buried in Greenwood Cemetery in Brooklyn. He's been dead since 1883, but that statue been there for forever. And my thing is, I don't really care about the symbols of so-called hate and oppression when you got the system of so-called hate and oppression alive and well. And that's our problem, man. We settle for bullshit, man, because even with the Forrest thing, they have yet to remove him and his wife remains. They still got their remains in the park. It's been there for 113 years. The statue is gone. But I'm saying, black people, we got to stop getting in this mind state. I mean, we're not asking for anything big or substantive in this period. We should have learned from the last 8 years for not asking. We're begging, we're pleading, we're crying. Please, please love us. Please love me. Love yourself enough to do something for yourself and for your people. We keep on complying and being, and keep on accepting bullshit, and you get bullshit results. Okay. If we keep along this road, we're not going to go anywhere anytime fast. So what I'm saying, even with the Yo Gotti thing, is bullshit. They either should have never put it up or they should have held their ground and kept it up. Because I won't back down. But they back down like a prison bitch. And they laid down and they bent over. And what's interesting about the Shelby County school system is that they got $1 billion annual budget. They got the largest school budget in the state of Tennessee. Got $1 billion annual budget. But yeah, you don't see where the money goes to. And people always talking about we for the children. We're not for the children, because if we were for the children, we would tell them the truth about who they are and their existence. Your education at this foundation is knowledge itself. It's not arithmetic. It's not reading and writing. I must get you engaged. If you are to truly educate a human being, you must get them engaged in the journey of learning about who they are, where they can come from, because it builds confidence. It builds self-respect. It helps to nurture self-love when you know who the hell you are, that person staring back at you from the mirror. And I'm tired of people. I mean, you got to stop. You got to ask yourself this bullshit question. Why do I keep on saying, why did you teach them this in school? What is that school? That's not a school. That's not school. That is not school. You what you send your kids to is menticide. That's menticide. That's a death camp. In terms, it kills your spirit. It kills your mental. It kills your reason to be intellectually curious. When you are 17 or 16 and you have no curiosity, have no ambition about learning about anything, you have no passions. When they dull you on the inside, it destroys your outside expectations. When you are dulled on the inside, it destroys your outside expectations and inclinations. So you got to ask yourself, what type of people will allow their children to be thrown to the wolves, to be abandoned, and thrown to the wolves, to the sharks of the world? What type of people does that to their so-called offspring, to their heirs, to their legacies? I didn't see the Grammys last night. I don't care. I don't really care about these things, about these damn trinkets. I don't care. Beyonce, talented. Jay-Z didn't win nothing. Got nominated, 7 times? I don't care. It ain't gonna change the position or the predicament of black people. People talk about this and that. One of the greatest, most talented singers, actors, entertainers, person who ever lived, Paul Robeson, is not even remembered. You talking about Beyonce and Jay-Z and Kendrick Lamar? Y'all don't even remember. We don't even remember Paul Robeson, man. And the sacrifice he made. Y'all talking about some Colin Kaepernick. Paul Robeson was crucified. He didn't have, the luxury that people like Colin and other people, not disrespecting what Colin Kaepernick has been able to achieve, but we don't even understand the folks what they went through that came before. Paul Robeson should be better remembered, man, because that man was crucified. It's like I read Dizzy Gillespie's autobiography, and I suggest everybody should read that because it's very fascinating. time capsule about the period back in the 40s and 50s and whatnot. Like Dizzy Gillespie said, he said basically he was saying that the people that killed Malcolm and Martin gave them mercy because they were shot and it was over. You know, they tortured them and they played with them a little bit, but they tortured Paul Robeson for decades upon decades. Paul Robeson lived to be an old man. I think he died. He was almost 80 years old, but they tried to poison him. I mean, he had an episode in Russia or the Soviet Union where they tried to do things to him to make him commit suicide. They did all types of shit to Paul Robeson, take away his passport, to stop him from earning a living, try to use other black folks like Jackie Robinson to turn against him. So they're good at divide and conquer. Because even with Muhammad Ali, when he was going through what he was going through in the 60s, they use other iconic figures to come for him. Like they would use a Joe Louis, or they'll use a Sugar Ray Robinson or somebody else to counter Muhammad Ali. But Muhammad Ali also had backup from the black community. He had black athletes that stood with him in solidarity. And, you know, these were not bench warmers. You were like first ballot Hall of Famers, MVP, the great of the greats, Jim Brown, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, some of the greats, right? Stood with Cassius or Muhammad Ali. Because the thing about it is, these cats were not so disconnected from their community. A lot of these cats had to get jobs in the off season to supplement their professional athlete income. I mean, they were regular. I mean, they had a connection with the community that a lot of these athletes don't have today. They're so disconnected. So I don't know why people got this thing where they want celebrities to speak for them. It's bullshit. I don't want no celebrity to speak for me. You can't feel my pain. I'm tired of celebrities saying that it's not about money. Well, nigga, give me your money. Give me your account. If it's not about money, how come you got $500 million in the bank or whatever in assets? If it's not about money, how come you charging me $200, $300 for your sneakers? Give me your fucking account and your money and your life, and then I'll tell you if it's not about money. But money is a thing. Money is very important. Money is good. There's nothing wrong with money. Reverend Ike said it's not the love of money, it's the lack of money that is the root of all evil. It's the scarcity bullshit that this system plays on people's minds. We come from God. We gods, man. We come from abundance. But yet this system makes you fear scarcity. There is enough of everything to go around for everybody. But y'all we so fucked up in the head. We think if everybody get some of the same shit, that's evil. Nigga, you know what's evil? Having a motherfucking job. That's a violation to have a fucking job. Think about it. You got poor people that got 10 goddamn jobs, can't pay for shit. You got some wealthy motherfuckers, they so goddamn wealthy, they have somebody else wipe their own ass. They don't know how to wash no dishes. They don't know how to clean a toilet. Never had a job. And yet people respect these people. Dr. King came to Memphis and died for some sanitation workers. These motherfuckers could not even take a shower once they got through dealing with all that filthy fucking garbage. They had to get on fucking buses with garbage smell and shit and garbage in their shoes and shit and smelling like shit. And people laughing at them and making them feel bad about who they were. And that's why they had that I am a man shit. They had to remind themselves that they were men. But yet they were treated like children. Black Americans are some of the oldest teenagers in the world. It's arrested development because they don't allow us to be grown folks in this system. Because we say shit like, man, they killed Malcolm and they killed Martin at 39. Nigga, so what? Die for something. Dr. King said it best. If a man ain't willing to die for anything, he ain't fit to live. You gonna live scared all your life? What type of legacy is that? White folks love to die for the shit they want. Against each other. White folks fight against each other all the time. What do you think Europe is all about? They fight each other all the time. But yet we afraid to fight for us. We'll die for white people's right to make the world safe for them to exploit. Not make the world safe for democracy. We'll die for the right for white inferiority to make the world safe for them to exploit you. We allowed them to exploit us. All this praying and on your knees shit ain't gonna get it done, man. It's not gonna get it done. Living life, what good is to live as a zombie? Like, what good is it that my best years was when I was a teenager or in my 20s? What type of life is that to fucking live? If your best years were the shortest part of your life, if you live to be 70 years old, you mean to tell me that your life is over with at 30? I mean, you dead at 30, you brain dead, you spiritually dead at 30, and you want to live 40 more fucking years? Why? So you can look at Game of Thrones, look at the next year war shows. Fuck that shit. What are you living for? What are you willing to die for? Don't say you living for your children. You got one life to live. Ain't no guarantees. Ain't none. So take a chance on yourself. Why not believe in yourself? I don't understand people sometimes. I mean, people said, well, I can't live off $60 a day. I can't live off $90 a day. But this motherfucker, majority of the world is poor. Think about 2 or 3 billion people live on $1.50 a day. And you tell me what you can't do. You don't know what you can't do until you got to do it. You know, this the time to get out your safety zone, right? It's time to get out your safety zone and become aware of who you are. Take some chances. I'm in the process of moving. I'm always moving around. I've been kind of in the same place for about 14 months. That's too long because the world needs me. I don't need to be in a situation. I don't want to be comfortable in a fucked up situation for too long. You understand? I refuse now to be comfortable in too long fucked up situations. What's the point? What's the point, man? And what people got to understand is self-love is healthcare. It's the best healthcare. Self-love. Be kind to yourself. Be patient. Be forgiving with yourself. If you cannot be these things with yourself, you cannot begin to have a relationship with nobody else. If you cannot have a healthy and productive relationship with me and myself and I, you must learn how to love you better than nobody else. You must learn rather how to forgive you better than anybody else. You got to be there for you. Because people will use you. And how can a person love you if they have no love for themselves? How can a person be patient with you if they can't be patient with themselves? So really, I don't need everybody else's baggage. This year, 2018, for me, is about traveling light. You know, I'm not interested in being your leader. You know, I'm more interested in helping you find out that leader within. I want you to manifest your own leadership mentality. Learn how to discipline yourself, to work for yourself, to manifest the things that you want in this world. Because it's very disturbing. It is very disturbing. This bullshit. Don't you know that jobs don't exist unless you make a job? You got to manifest it. It does not exist. They're phasing out that old school shit. Dr. King time. See, we're not being honest because we don't study. We let somebody else tell us this is this, that. 50 years ago, the economy was expanding. Historic expansion. 50 years ago, school, and yet still be successful. Start a family of 4, worked at the factory for 40 years, retire on a good pension, still be able to send all my kids to college, right? And my wife never had to leave the house. She'd be working, she's over the household. Those days are gone. Right now, what's happening is that people are being phased out. Like, you know, they're talking about unemployment. Now, people have given up because this system is meant to break people's spirits. This system is designed to keep you preoccupied with bullshit and to break your spirit and to make you conform and be compliant to living a mediocre existence. The system is not designed for the majority of people to thrive, but to be compliant and to have their life force drained by a low percentage of the population. Y'all know them as the 1%. I'm gonna tell you something. The Illuminati, all that shit is fucking real because what make it real because it's about keeping knowledge away from people. The people who run the world don't run the world on bullets and guns. They run it on information. The people who control things don't control the world on bullets and guns. They control it with information. They manipulate the markets. They do this shit and that shit. They play hocus pocus with you. And I want people to understand that. So believe all this shit and then learn how to discern and know and to really know. And it begins with your foundation of knowledge itself. You got to know who you really are. You got to know who you really are. And I want to talk about the Jay-Z Van Jones. I mean, the reason why we got to talk about this because this is what y'all like to talk about. Y'all like this scandal and this fluff and this stuff. You know, I had Judge Joe Brown on recently. You listened to the interview. And we did that interview really late at night. So he said, well, you know, he don't feel like he was, because he was tired. He was dealing with, he just got over bronchitis. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world. But Judge Joe Brown, shout out to him. He's a trooper. But like he said, it's very like, wow. People are so out of it. All they care about is like Super Bowl is rigged. This is rigged. Every human activity has been manipulated and exploited for leverage for people that don't, you know, it's just what I'm saying all this to say. You got to use these things to get people attention. But at the same time, I want to pull something of substance in y'all or give y'all some food for thought for your time. And thank you all for supporting this platform and for the folks who have donated and brought gear and all that other stuff. We appreciate you. We love you madly. But I just want to touch base on the Van Jones and the brother Jay-Z. And I respect both of those brothers. I don't really have nothing bad to say. I know a lot of people, it's interesting, like going on YouTube and so many response videos, and people get all emotional and they all like this. Why they can't? I mean, look, Jay-Z, one of my favorite rappers. I don't care what you think about that. You might, oh, brother Ron, we thought you was woke and no, whatever. Jay-Z, I like Jay-Z. Very impressed with what he has been able to do for himself. And he's very successful in a lot of areas of human activity. You got to identify with Jay-Z. I mean, he came out the projects, right? Do or Die, Bad Style, Marcy Projects, all that stuff. I mean, what a success story, right? Van Jones, for the first time 10 years ago in Memphis for the 40th anniversary observance of Dr. King's crucifixion in Memphis. He was working with his organization, thing called Green for All out in Oakland on the Bay Area. They had the national conference here. They actually brought Tupac's mom, Afeni Shakur, to speak at the time. I just missed her. But I met Van Jones then, and I met him several times since that time. And I like Van Jones. You know, personally like him. He's very accessible. He actually has Memphis roots. His father is from Orange Mound in Memphis. Orange Mound, one of the first black communities in the country where black folks own their own homes. That's Orange Mound in Memphis. And his father's from there. But he was born and raised in Jackson, Tennessee. But Van always been a very humble brother. You know, I didn't care for him crying for them white women in 2016. He cried for Hillary. But he does what he got to do what you got to do. He's working in that place. But they had Jay-Z on his show this weekend, and Jay-Z made some interesting points about Donald Trump being a hurt superbug. And I thought it was pretty interesting. I'm pretty impressed with Jay-Z. Jay-Z is not a high school graduate. You know, he dropped out of high school. But here's the thing about Jay-Z. Jay-Z always had a love for knowledge. He was a voracious reader. They said he had he was reading at the 12th grade level when he was in 6th grade. So he was already reading at the high school level before he left elementary school. And Jay had an interest in life. But think about how many brothers and sisters have been left behind. Think about for one Jay-Z, how many thousands of brothers and sisters have been destroyed by this evil, wicked, insane system. And Jay-Z was able to make it out like a rose that grew from the concrete. The Tupac thing, same thing with Yo Gotti. But Jay is a very fascinating guy. I mean, I don't know all the things that he do. You know, I don't like to, when people say stuff like, well, you know, what have they done for the community? I don't know. And I'm not going to judge nobody on that, because why is it that more people, why should he have more responsibility than anybody else? Just because white people allow him to exist in this matrix, to exist at that level. They allow him access Why should Jay-Z have a responsibility to other people to do more than anybody else? It just can't be about money, because some of the greatest sacrifices ever made were bigger than money. People have given their lives for things that they believe in. Dr. King, for example. Dr. King was always in need of money. He chose a life that, he spent most of his adult life trying to raise money for the movement and was always $1 short. But yet people have found money, these corporations and other folks have found money to make his statue in DC. This I think $100 million statue, but yet Dr. King at the time of his death was always short on money. There was in constant need of cash flow. But yet these corporations that he talked about that would take black folks' money but wouldn't give them jobs, these same corporations and banks will put money behind his memorial. Because the thing about it is, you killed the dreamer and then you control the narrative. They control the narrative on King. They tell you King with this and that, and people accept that because people don't want to take the time to research for themselves. I have done research for myself. I have interviewed primary sources that knew Dr. King. Just last week, we lost Dr. Wyatt T. Walker, one of Dr. King's closest lieutenants and strategists, the brilliant Wyatt T. Walker, who was also a Pan-Africanist. So you don't know about King. This guy was in his inner circle. This guy helped plan Project C Birmingham, where they had the brilliant idea of using black children to go to jail in order to bring more attention to what was going on in Birmingham. He came up with that strategy of challenging Bull Connor with the concept of having these young black children being attacked by these dogs and water hoses and the police and all this crap and sending them to jail. He helped deliver Dr. King's famous A Letter from a Birmingham Jail to the world. So Dr. Wyatt T. Walker was also an executive director of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, I believe from 1961 to 65. And I actually met Dr. Walker during the 40th anniversary observation of Dr. King's assassination here in Memphis 10 years ago. He was in a wheelchair, but the guy's spirit was strong. I mean, I didn't know all about the elder, but, he earned the right to rest in peace. I think they say he was either 88 or 89 years old when he passed. But Dr. King, in his circles, they one by one, they going home. But Dr. Wyatt T. Walker, brilliant strategist and people's fighter, man, he rests in peace. Well-deserved peace. But getting back to Jay-Z, I'm not hypercritical on Jay-Z. I think Jay-Z he thinks he's brilliant. He's a thinking man. He is an intellectual in his own right. I know people say he's not an intellectual, this and that. But he did the things that a lot of us are not willing to do to get where he need to go. So, you got to think about that, But think about how many brothers and sisters who had, a Jay-Z talent or gift who were denied because they're just collateral damage for a system that never respected black folks in the first place. Don't you understand that Dred Scott is buried right outside of Ferguson, Missouri? Dred Scott is buried in the same cemetery as General William Sherman, the Union general that led the march to the sea that burnt down Atlanta. They're buried in the same cemetery. I just don't know how that happened. Very beautiful cemetery. I visited in 2016, the fall of 2016. And Dred Scott was told by the U.S. Supreme Court that you have no rights, that the white man is bound to respect you nor your descendants. So, yes, we are Americans, but are we treated as citizens? Do we have all the full rights if you are a black American? Now, people would say that we was already over here. We were already over here. We are Native Americans. We are Aboriginal Americans. But what we got to start doing is we got to start researching and putting the information out there. You already had the ancestors that told us, like Dr. Ivan Van Sertima. You got the information. You don't need no talking head to make you feel good like you up in church, to make you feel good. You don't need no man or no woman to tell you what the time it is. Hard to say what he said, history is like clock. It tells you what time it is right now. You can learn how to utilize the lessons from the past to create a better circumstance for you and your people in the present, and then secure the resources so we can start planning for the goddamn future. That's what we all got to do. But Jay-Z said what he said, got the attention of President Trump, who is really a hip-hop president. He is. First of all, I mean, people talking about Obama. Donald Trump is a hip-hop president because he's from Queens. Who's from Queens? So many great rappers and MCs come from Queens. Think about it. Now don't just Run DMC. Think about the rappers: 50 Cent, LL Cool J, Nicki Minaj, Queens, baby, Mobb Deep, very deep. Ja Rule, Murder Inc., Murder. All them cats come out of Queens. That's hustling Queens, hustle and bustle of Queens. Queens, baby. Nas, Queensbridge, Noriega. That project produced some of the biggest hip hop names in history. I was at a Hojo, Howard Johnson Hotel, right across the street from Queensbridge a couple of years ago. You can just feel it in the air, that history. Queensbridge, QB. You know, but Donald Trump's from Queens. And he got that swagger. He trolls. Him and 50 Cent remind me of each other a lot. But what I respect about 50 Cent, he's more self-made than Donald Trump. Donald Trump was given. Imagine if 50 Cent had the inheritance that Donald Trump had starting off. Imagine if Master P had that. Now, the black folks, do you understand who we are? Look at a 50 Cent. Look at a Master P, a Percy Miller. Look at any of us, man. We got it in us to build dynasties, man. Never forget that the wealthiest person that ever lived did not come from Egypt. He came from Western Africa, and his name was Mansa Musa. Because we always talk about Egypt, nothing wrong with Egypt and all that stuff, but we have done so much more than just Egypt. And we always talk about what we do in the past. What are we doing now? Now. Why are we building now? Man, people talking about black capitalism. Nigga, you know black capitalism. Black slavery, yeah. You know, black capitalism. Black capitalism ain't going to solve our problem, but we do need money if we're going to play this game. We do need wealth building if we're going to play this game. And we got to learn how to fight and protect what we want. All these people that we admire, all these people that the system admire, they murderers. They rapists, they murderers, they gangsters, they pirates. These are the founding fathers. Murderers, rapists, pirates, gangsters, bootleggers, didn't want to pay their taxes. Al Capone wasn't the only person that didn't want to pay no taxes. Think about it. The only way they could get Al Capone was on income tax evasion. On some bullshit income tax. All those people he killed. Because that's how, see, the thing about it is Al Capone is like one of the founding fathers. They cared to kill to get what they want. They didn't believe in paying no taxation without representation, y'all. Come on. And he's a high school graduate, Al Capone, by the way. But I was just saying, people talk about Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders wasn't going to do nothing. You know, look how he laid down for Hillary. They bamboozled. Somebody lost their life, arguably, over what happened to Bernie Sanders. Self-Rich. We forgot about Self-Rich. Dude got shot. We don't even know what hospital that he was sent to get operated on. Where's the autopsy results about Self-Rich? Y'all said, who is Self-Rich? That's the cat that was working with the DNC, the Democratic National Convention, and somehow got killed while on his way home. Questionable circumstances. But allegedly he was the deep throat for WikiLeaks that year, supposedly. But what I'm saying is Bernie Sanders laid down for Hillary Clinton and her mob. Laid down for him. He didn't fight. They stole his nomination, and he had no fight in him. So no, Bernie Sanders was not gonna get the job done. If you think about Huey Long, see, y'all don't even know about Huey Long. Get hip to Huey Long. Learn about Huey Long. Learn why they don't want you to know about Huey Long. Learn about the Share the Wealth program. Back in the 1930s, America was close to revolution. Y'all talking about the 60s, but it was the 1930s. America was about to be overthrown, and the ruling elite was concerned. They were so concerned that they wanted to assassinate Franklin Roosevelt and overthrow the government and put their own people in place of. Look at General Smedley Butler. They wanted to replace Franklin Roosevelt with General Smedley Butler, the most decorated U.S. Marine in history. He won 2 Medal of Honor, and that's the highest award you can win for military valor, for bravery in action. And they approached him to overthrow the government, and he told the press, and I believe he told Congress, and they laughed at him, but look him up. He the one that coined the phrase, war is a racket. His writings are online. You get them in free PDFs and all that stuff. General Smedley Butler, he did that. Franklin Roosevelt allegedly was almost assassinated in Miami, I believe in March of 33. You had an Italian immigrant by the name of Giuseppe Zangara who missed Roosevelt allegedly and ended up hitting and assassinating the mayor of Chicago, Mayor Anton Cermak. That's how they say it went. But you hear other versions say they were trying to get Roosevelt. But Giuseppe Zangara ended up dying in a chair in Florida for his crime. And Huey Long, September 8th, 1935. Let me give you Huey Long was once the governor of Louisiana and then became a U.S. senator. One of the most popular senators and one of the most, I guess, dangerous politicians we ever had in this country. And Huey Long, what he did was he taxed Standard Oil for operating in Louisiana. He forced them to pay for textbooks for the children, for the school children. He helped create. He built the road infrastructure for the state of Louisiana. He helped build bridges to connect the parishes. See, we got counties here, but Louisiana, their counties are known as parishes. So he was able to build bridges and construct roads. So he helped modernize Louisiana by taxing Standard Oil, Exxon, Rockefeller, people like that. And so he also used that to build up LSU, and also helped build the Capitol building that still stands in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And so he wanted to share the wealth. He believed that every family should have access to money. Workers should be paid a living wage. I think he believed the work week should be like maybe 20 hours, maybe even 10 hours. His share the wealth movement had over 8 million members in America back in the 30s. He had over 8 million people a part of his share the wealth organization. He was getting 60,000 letters a week. I think that's still the most for any politician. This man was getting 60,000 letters a week from the people of America. And he wanted to do a living wage for everybody. He didn't want people to work all day. He wanted people to be able to enjoy life and be with their families. He had a lot of visionary things, and he was killed by the elites because on September 8th, 1936, he was in the Capitol in Louisiana, and allegedly Dr. Carl Weiss shot him, and then he was shot upon by Huey Long's bodyguards. And then in the process, Huey Long was hit. And I'm going to tell you something that's interesting about this whole thing. Huey Long probably could have survived, but they did not go in and dealt with the issues he had with his kidney. They went in and closed him up, and he ended up dying from whatever you want to believe, but they killed him on the operating table. If you really look into all the conspiracies and all the angles, and guess who notified the people of who assassinated Huey Long? It was J. Edgar Hoover. J. Edgar Hoover had FBI following Huey Long because Huey Long was seen as a threat to Franklin Roosevelt. Although Huey Long was a Democrat, he was seen as a threat to Franklin Roosevelt because he was more radical. He was trying to push, because Franklin Roosevelt, he was an elite. Franklin Roosevelt's maternal grandfather was Warren Delano Jr. He made the family fortune by selling opium to the Chinese. So you see why the Chinese don't trust Americans? His grandfather made their family fortune selling opium to the Chinese. Franklin Roosevelt's grandfather, one of the biggest American gangsters of all time, Warren Delano Jr. So Franklin Roosevelt saw Huey Long as a threat. Huey Long did not want to intervene in Europe. He was an isolationist. He did not want to intervene in the rise of Hitler. So they tried to paint him as a Hitler over in America. Huey Long had 8 million people in his organization, Share the Wealth. He utilized radio of the day. He would have been a hell of a person to be around in this era of social media. He would have been a king. Calls up the kingfish, every man a king, no man wears a crown. But he had over 20 million listeners on radio that listen to him on a regular basis. And you could just Google him up or search him online and YouTube videos. Very dynamic speaker. He started an adult literacy program that helped Huey Newton's parents. Huey Newton is named after Huey Long. Huey Newton is from Monroe, Louisiana. His parents were big fans of Huey Long. Huey Long was one of those rare politicians from the South who did not use the race card. He did not use the race card. He did not, associate with the Klan. He did not, because he believed that the way they get you is to divide and conquer. He knew that already, that the way that they break up the people is to divide and conquer. So he didn't focus on race. He focused on class. This is a dude from Louisiana that's doing that. So he's ahead of his curve. But, it's kind of like if you compare Franklin Roosevelt as being like Thomas Edison and Huey Long was like a Nikola Tesla. Thomas Edison is better known, is more popular. I mean, Tesla is Tesla was too much ahead of the game. He was crucified for being too much ahead of the curve because he wanted free electricity for everyone. Tesla wanted people to have free electricity, like Wi-Fi and stuff like that. He was ahead of the curve. Edison wanted to invent things to make money, but Tesla was in to making shit. He wanted to make things for folks to help liberate them. So he had a different approach. And when Nikola Tesla died in his hotel in New York City, the government came in, the FBI came in to confiscate his notebooks and whatnot. And guess who was one of the people working for the government that got some of Nikola Tesla's notebooks? It was Donald Trump's uncle. I believe his uncle name was John Trump. Look it up. Donald Trump's uncle was a scientist and a researcher for the government, and he worked for the FBI as well too. So you look all this stuff up because people say, well, maybe Donald Trump was able to do some time traveling because his uncle got Tesla's book, like kind of like the Back to the Future thing. I mean, there's a theory out there floating around about Donald Trump was able to manipulate the future by going back in the past, some of the time traveling. But anyway, there's so much stuff to consider. But this is why I like doing this. I'm like freestyling this stuff, just throwing stuff out there. See what y'all think. But please look up Huey Long because people try to act like Donald Trump was a populist. They try to act like Bernie Sanders was a populist, and Huey Long was the real thing, and they got rid of him. Huey Long actually questioned, no, why do we have a Federal Reserve? And you notice anybody that takes on the Federal Reserve, something happens to them. Like, if you're really serious about taking on how the money is being printed and how currency is being controlled, you are dealt with. And Huey Long was a big critic of the Federal Reserve. He was a big critic of it, and he was very vocal about it. And if he had became president, his goal was to get rid of the Federal Reserve. So he had to be done with. So I just want y'all to, take control of the narrative. Look up Huey Long. Learn something about Huey Long. He died when he was like 42 or 43 years old. But he did so much in his short life. And like they say, his last words were, "Please don't let me die. Please don't let me die. I got so much more to do. Please don't let me die." They killed him. And it's a woman. You can look this online. It's a woman. She allegedly recorded her daddy's deathbed confession. I think she passed along as well too. But it talks about the formation of Mardi Gras, New Orleans, and the Illuminati, and the assassinations of Huey Long and JFK and Abraham Lincoln. See, Abraham Lincoln was killed, and JFK was killed both in public. They both were shot in the head after messing around with the currency. They were trying to mess around the currency. They both were shot in the head in public. Two presidents. So this document, the lady's name is Mimi Eustace or something like that. Mimi Eustace. And you just type in maybe Mimi Eustace, Huey Long, and it should pop up something. And Dr. Carl Weiss. Because Dr. Carl Weiss is interesting because they said he was the one that shot Huey Long. But allegedly, the bullets that killed Huey Long were, I believe, a 38, and he had a 32. They were 38 bullets, so there wasn't even bullets that matched his gun. And from my understanding was he actually just punched Huey Long in the face and bust Huey Long's lip. And then the bodyguard shot in retaliation, and they hit him. They full him full of bullet holes like Swiss cheese. He was just 30 years old. He had a 3-month-old son who's also a doctor who has dedicated his life. I don't know if he's still alive, but he dedicated his life to clear his father's name. But I think his father was a patsy. for the Illuminati. He was part of the elite, third degree Mason. All this stuff is real. That shit is real. Look it up, go down that rabbit hole, and come back out. There's a lot of rabbit holes to go down, but I just wanted y'all to understand that about Huey Long. See, every time they talk about Huey Long, it's some negative stuff they talk about Huey Long. Realize that. Remember what Brother Malcolm said, the media is the most powerful entity on earth, the most powerful force on earth. Could make your friends your enemies and your enemies your friends. Huey Long was a friend of the people, but they pay him like a lunatic. And you got to be a little bit out there in order to go there. You got to be a little bit out there to go there in this system. You can't be just a regular motherfucker running at regular speed in order to compete and to try to do battle with this system. You understand what I'm saying? You can't be just a regular thinking person. Hannibal could not be just a regular thinking motherfucker if you're going to take them goddamn elephants through the Alps to take on the Roman Empire. You just can't think this like a normal way. You got to think like outside the box, underneath the box, over the box. You just got to be a different type of person in order to achieve some phenomenal things. Charlie Parker was not going to get there just by practicing 1 hour a day. 1 hour a day on his saxophone. He had to practice 15 hours a day for 4 years. Just ain't going to get there by being hell-fast. You got to go extreme with what you want. You got to be extreme with it. Just can't be hell-fast with it. So Huey Long was very extreme. He pushed the envelope. But I really believe that he had sincere heart for the people. And what people don't understand is like Castro. You criticize people who seize power. And a lot of times, majority of people, to be honest, majority of people don't know what they want. So anytime somebody come along and you are resolute in what you want, people will make you out to be a dictator because he who chooses and decides is power. To have the power, to have the ability to decide upon something, to choose something, and to go after it, you will be made to look like you're crazy in the land of the sheeple. Most people just follow. Most of us just followers, man. That's why we get all wrapped up into leaders, and then we get all disappointed when they want to have some pussy and some alcohol and some drugs. They just people, man. Just like you. You got shortcomings. Why do you hold these people above you? We all supposed to be equal and stuff. I'm not looking for another person to tell me how to wipe my ass. I wipe my own ass. But what I'm saying is we are caught up in these personalities. It's not about the personalities. The goal is to leave something behind that's bigger than you. That should be the goal for everybody, not as a deity, but to leave something behind that is bigger than you, that the people can take each generation and make it into their image. They can reinterpret. Like Thomas Dorsey and them, gospel music, they don't sing gospel music now like they did back in the 20s and 30s. They got their own thing. Kirk Franklin ain't supposed to monkey Thomas Dorsey, the father of gospel music. He's supposed to have his own thing. That's just like these rappers. They don't sound like LL Cool J and Kool Moe Dee and Slick Rick and all them. They got their own thing. You might not like it, but the beautiful thing about life, you make it how you want to make it. You make it yours. So what I'm saying is, stop letting these folks dictate to you the terms of your existence and take it back. Do your thing, man. Why do people be sad all the time? You don't have to be sad. Like Dick said, niggas afraid of bills. They scared of bills. But I'm saying, United States ain't paying no bills. They laugh for that shit. This country trillions of dollars of debt. I don't hear people, well, the country's in debt. The country, so what? The country's in debt. They never paid their debt to the people who built the country. Where is the gratitude for the folks and their descendants who built this country? People talking about dreamers. Dreamers didn't build this country. People who were living in nightmarish conditions built this country. Well, there's no dreamers that built this country. Opportunists that exploited this country. But the people who built this country was living a nightmarish existence. Check out the slave narratives. People are like, freedom. People say, I'm scared to be free. Yeah, freedom is freedom. Freedom don't have no clause in it. Freedom don't have no rules. People rather be indoctrinated than liberated. When you liberated, you can make it up as you go along, but at least you making it up. You living by you living for you. You making what you want to make happen. And yet people are afraid of that. You let people tell you, you only worth this. You're going to live lives of quiet desperation, working a cubicle job, 40 hours a week. You killing yourself because you're not doing the things you want to do. You should do the things you want to do. You should do and take and be responsible and accept the consequences that come with the actions. Because what is, like, people talking about, well, I wait to get my great reward in heaven. If you scared to live now, what make your ass think you're gonna be living in large up in heaven? Oh, can I get the angel food cake? Can I? You gotta ask, can I? No, well, if it's heaven, if it's paradise, you do what the fuck you want to do, supposedly, don't you? But what is it that what have you found out that Hitler's in heaven too? Hitler get to kill Stalin or Pol Pot. These people killed millions of people, yet they living next door to you. Hey neighbor, hey comrade, hey neighbor. You know what I'm saying? Damn, you mean I could have killed 10 million motherfuckers and still make it to heaven? But why not hell heaven now? Y'all talking about what happened when you die. I don't care. I mean, you decompose. You know what I'm saying? I'm not knocking about religion, but if you gotta die anyway, what difference does it make? I'm just gonna be like that. If you allow yourself to be mistreated now and to live below a certain type of humane standard, why are you so concerned about how you get treated in the afterlife if you're not living life now? It's like Reverend Ike. Google and look at Reverend Ike's interview when people ask him, or Mr. Ike, do you believe in heaven? He said, I believe in the now. Now, I want my heaven now and everything I want now. Don't deny me what I want now. Whatever I want that make my life the best, I want it now. Don't delay my gratification. Manifest it now. So what can you do? Why are you worried about bills? Bill Gates got bills. Warren Buffett got bills. Bills are here to stay. Bills are here to stay. Why you worried about all this stuff? Black folks, they owe you money with interest. And people got the nerve to say, I don't want reparations. Nigga, it ain't for you to decide what you want. Just give me your money and give me your assets, nigga. Because it ain't about you. You didn't earn that. Your ancestors earned that. They owe that shit. You are just like white folks. Donald Trump's father built that shit for his folks. Donald Trump ain't no businessman, but he loved his family. You know what I'm saying? People say, well, Donald Trump, he filed for bankruptcy. He never, like he said, my family never went starving. I always took care of my family. My family always came first. I filed for bankruptcy to protect my family. White folks, they destroy businesses. Business that just rename it. See, black folks, man, we've been trained a certain way, man. It's like nonprofits. These mega churches are nonprofits. But if you go to a site called Charity Navigator, you will see that a lot of these cats, when they think of nonprofit, they're making a profit. See, white folks like to play these word games and shit. They have to play the word game. They're making millions and billions off our asses. Like y'all been programmed to think that it's your responsibility to take care of Houston. No, it's the federal government responsibility to take care of Houston and Puerto Rico. Y'all donate y'all money to the Red Cross, United Way. They just poverty pimps. You want to talk about poverty pimps? Poverty pimps? Niggas thinking local. Nigga, this is global. This is universal. This is multiversal. Y'all on that corner shit. I'm talking about motherfuckers that overthrowing governments and shit, man, and destroying dynasties, man. Y'all think on the corner shit. Niggas on the corner just run their goddamn mouth. They be better off working at McDonald's, man. None of these niggas don't know how to make that. Look, what I'm saying is, this is what I'm saying. What MC Breed said back in the day, so I'm dating myself. Ain't no future in your fronting. 2018 ain't the year to be lying and trying to cover up shit. It's the year to come clean. This is a year to come clean, right? This is the year to come clean. See, we gotta stop fooling ourselves. I'm not into them no more. I don't give a fuck, because if you're afraid to speak your mind, that means you have no credibility. Them niggas can't do nothing for me. I don't care about no Oprah, no 2020. I don't want no Kamala Harris. I've been Obama out. Niggas can't do nothing for me, because if a nigga, all he can do is wait till he get out of power, try to talk some truth to power, fuck you. You should have did it when you was in office. Should did it when you was in office. I don't give a fuck about what you got to say. It's not important, because at the end of the day, you work for your white masters. This system does not benefit black folks. It never has, and never will. And it's getting so bad right now. People so out of it. It's gonna have to be a revolution. And ain't gonna be no reforming. This shit ain't reformable. It's working the way it's supposed to work. You know what I'm saying? And black folks were never supposed to be a part of this shit, except as assets to the system masters. Slavery is not even in the Ten Commandments. What did it say slavery was wrong? Is there any place in the Bible that actually says slavery was wrong? I remember the reason why I say that. I remember every year at the statue, the Nathan Bedford Forrest statue, where his body is buried, the white folks will come down the Sunday before his birthday July 13th. I went to the last 3 of those things. And I remember one of the organizers, he asked me, you gotta think about it, it'd be like hundreds or even thousands of white people, excuse me, at this thing, with their guns out, open carry, with their dogs, with their Civil War memorabilia, Civil War reenactors, Confederacy horses, even forced bottled water and watermelon. And one of the organizers asked me, well, Brother Ron, I don't mean no disrespect. I thank you for dialoguing with me and respecting me. From my point of view, but where in the Bible does it say that slavery is evil or bad? It's not even a part of the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not enslave. Where is that at? That's not a part of the 10 Commandments. You know, it won't be televised, but it'll be live streaming on YouTube, right? Thank you, brother Manny Lamont. Obama is just about as good as Bill Cosby playing Dr. Huxtable. He's a symbol, man. It's like he's the exceptional. He's the exception. He's not the rule. And he cannot identify with black people. He identified mostly with white people. And Judge Brown said that arguably Obama's one of the wealthiest, if not the wealthiest president we ever had. But you look at his narrative, it's fascinating. They don't talk about who his stepfather really was, Barry Soetoro. They don't tell you who he really is. That's why they full of shit. I remember back in 2013, I believe it was February 2013, I was at Central Barbecue, very popular barbecue restaurant in Memphis. And I spotted Harry Lennox Jr. at Central, of all people. I was actually entertaining a friend who's from Chicago. She was in town. She's an airline stewardess, and my mom, and we was having dinner. And I spotted Harry Lennox Jr. Now, I know y'all know who Harry Lennox Jr. is, but he did the 5 Heartbeats. And he also played the general in the Superman movie a couple years back. And he also played on the Blacklist, I believe. But anyway, I came up to him and I said, "Are you Harry Lennox Jr.?" He said, "Yes. How are you doing?" I said, "Hey," shook his hand, took a picture with him. And he played Adam Clayton Powell Jr. in a made-for-TV movie. I think it came out on Showtime. And him and Vanessa Williams, played his wife. It was a very good movie. I think he did a very great job as Adam Clayton Powell Jr. And I said, man, if they make a movie about Obama, you should play him. And he smiled and laughed a little bit. And I didn't realize that allegedly Harry Lennox Jr. trained Obama. He was Obama's acting coach in the 90s. Like he was approached by either the CIA, I think he was approached by the CIA or somebody to train Obama to act presidential. Now, I say all this to say I believe that's true, because look at Harry Lennox mannerisms in his movies and in his interviews and study Obama. Obama acts like Harry Lennox Jr. And I believe it was a popular show in Chicago called the Man Cow Show. They actually exposed, they asked him that question. And now Harry Lennox, he admitted that he was the one who trained Obama. He was his acting coach. That'll be a hell of a movie to talk about. But in his opinion, while I understand, he said Obama was not impressive to him, and that he just like Ronald Reagan, that Obama was Ronald Reagan 2.0, basically. But he denies that he said all this, but they got him on tape, I believe, saying that he was Obama's acting coach from the 90s. You could Google that up. Yep. So it's my slavery, brother. Slavery is not in the 10 Commandments, because if you follow and understand the fullness of the commandments, then you fundamentally understand slavery is wrong. Not necessarily. I mean, the Bible could be interpreted in many ways. People have used Bibles all the time or religion to justify genocides and all types of stuff. You know, Hitler was a very religious person. I would say he had a good relationship with the Vatican. Check out Operation Paperclip and Odyssey File. No, Hitler had a good relationship with the Vatican. The Vatican City is its own entity. It's not a part of Rome. It was not touched. It was not sacked by the Nazis. They respected the power and authority of the Pope. You look at the history of the Catholic Church, they had their own army. You know, the Pope had his own army, standing army. Because religion, like especially like that type of religion stuff, is about they worship power. It's not about Jesus, it's about the power. It's about power. The Vatican worships power. Remember Godfather 3 about the banker, the God's banker? That stuff is based on real stuff. Look up, they killed the dude that was the banker for the Vatican. They hanged him from a bridge in London. I believe that was back in the 80s. Look that stuff up, man. This stuff isn't. Godfather 3 was based on some real stuff. They helped kill popes and make it like it was natural causes. This shit is real. It's about power, man. Power is their religion. Remember that scene in Godfather 1 where Al Pacino and Diane Keaton was walking down the street, and Al Pacino was talking about, as Michael Corleone, of course, that his father had big plans for him. He wanted him to be a U.S. senator and all this stuff, wanted him to be legitimate. He wanted to make the family name legitimate, like the Kennedys. And Diane Keaton character, who's a school teacher. Now, Diane Keaton's character is a school teacher. She said, well, Michael, the president doesn't kill people. And then he said something, who's the naive one, Kate? This is a school teacher that said that the president does not kill people. Michael Corleone just came home from World War II, a war that was declared by the president and Congress. So where is this notion that the president doesn't kill people? Obama was the drone ranger. He killed people all the time on his orders. They killing American citizens without trials. You know, drone ranger. So I'm saying, like, this idea that people got about presidents don't kill people. This country is a killing machine. They sacrifice. Wars are nothing but blood sacrifices. War is occult shit. It's occult stuff. It's blood sacrifices. You have wars to make profits, man. United States have constantly been a wartime economy since the 40s, man. That's how our economy works. You know, you make profit off of war. It's like Johnson fought the Vietnam War to help make his friends who got him elected richer or wealthier. A guy named Colonel Downey, who served under Lyndon B. Johnson, he was not a fan. He was a military guy. He was a so-called patriot. And also people connected him to the assassination of Dr. King. And he was troubled by the Vietnam War. And allegedly he approached Johnson, Lyndon B. Johnson, and said, why you not pulling us out of Vietnam? He said, man, basically, I can't, man, because my friends are making too much money. Wars are fought to make a profit, man, not to make a difference for the people. The people who fight these wars are nothing but pawns. I would not want any of my kinfolk to be fighting a war for wealthy people. These elites. You know what I'm saying? They're not fought to liberate anybody. They are fought to control resources and to manipulate them. And people are being duped, man, because how else would you explain black people fighting in all these wars? We fought in every war for the country, but yet we get mistreated every generation. You talk about, man, Charles Hamilton Houston. Charles Hamilton Houston, who was Thurgood Marshall's mentor and the dean of Howard University's law school. He had an Ivy League education, brilliant lawyer. When he was an officer in World War I, he was almost lynched by American white soldiers. They call them doughboys. He almost got lynched in full uniform by white American soldiers because they were envious of the fact that him and his people were attracting European women. The women was into them and not into the white boys. You know, they spread the rumor about black soldiers having monkey tails and stuff like that. So he almost got lynched. This is the future architect of the Brown v. Board decision. This is the guy who helped mold and train at Thurgood Marshall. He almost got lynched in France during World War I. You could just Google all this stuff up. So this country has always misused black folks, but we allowed them to misuse us. It's like when Bobby Dick Gregory had to educate Bob Marley about the Buffalo Soldier. We were made a fool of So how can you fight for this country when this country won't give a damn about you? We won the Civil War, but yet we allow them not to see. We don't teach our history. We don't teach it, and we don't know it, and then we get mad and frustrated with our young people. Why? Because where can they go, man? We keep on telling them to go to school, to get in debt. There's no jobs out here, and people have stopped looking for stuff. And the thing about it is, the jobs are obsolete anyway, because most of the stuff gonna be automated very soon. Look at the movies, Total Recall. Look at all these movies, Terminator and all this stuff. It has gotten us prepared for the future, man. The future is not about work. It's about, now we got to figure out how to live. We should be teaching our young people and educating ourselves on how to live, man. Because that's really, we got to learn how to live and how to treat ourselves better, man, and figure out a way to make this work for us, man. Because if you're talking about, I'm in Memphis and they trying to push this Dr. King 50 thing. And the theme is, where do we go from here? If you still got to ask yourself that question 50 years later, then we ain't going nowhere. That's the answer. We're not going anywhere. What do you mean when we go from here? That's a moment that's been wasted. I don't necessarily think that Dr. King died in vain, but a lot of folks think that Dr. King died for Obama to become president. I don't think they was thinking like that back then. I think they was trying to Dr. King was actually doing what Huey Long wanted to do. He wanted to redistribute the wealth. That's why he died. He did not die so we could have a black president. He died because he wanted us to all have a living wage. And he wanted this system to provide reparations for black people. That's why he died. He did not die because he plagiarized his dissertation in college. He did not die because he allegedly had all these orgies with light-skinned prostitutes. He died because he challenged the system. He wanted to redistribute the wealth, and the system had a bullet waiting for his ass. That's why he died. That's why he died. All these people got this fetish. I mean, like I said, I like to look at people's page. I respect people, but people got this thing about people's personal lives. It's really ridiculous. People got he said he liked to fuck because he was stressed. Yeah, he probably was stressed out. Fucking probably was therapeutic for him. Just like Kennedy. I don't care. But you gotta look at the fact that these guys put their lives on the line for what they believe in. You know what I'm saying? You worry about who they fucking and who they sucking, and I don't care. I don't really care about that, especially if it was consensual. That's their business. Like I said, I don't want nobody following me, you could be because I'm gonna be a human being, god damn it. I reserve the right to fuck up and to make mistakes and to be human, god damn it. Oh man, I thought you was this team we all be. Yeah, B team we all be, but brother Ron, I'm a human, but I want y'all to really think about something I'm saying here. What you think is honorable, a lot of times is a violation of the universe. Things that we've been trained to think is honorable, like war, is a violation. It's a violation. They fight wars on lies. It's never fought on truth. Wars are fought on lies. Remember that. Wars are always fought on misleading information, deception, lies. They knew about Pearl Harbor. They allowed it to happen so we could get into World War II. J. Edgar Hoover, yeah. J. Edgar Hoover was the cat that announced to the world that Dr. Carl Weiss killed Huey Long. How the hell J. Edgar Hoover gonna know what happened in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and he in Washington, D.C.? J. Edgar Hoover was the cat that told the world that Dr. Carl Weiss killed Huey Long. He knew that before the police down there knew it. Just like he knew that Lee Harvey Oswald assassinated Kennedy. It was the FBI that told them, yeah, it was Lee Harvey Oswald. Just like he said it was James Earl Ray that killed Dr. King. See how it works? It's J. Edgar Hoover telling everybody who killed all these important people. He put it out there early and he put it out there often. And he had control and access to the media, especially with Huey Long, because one of the most popular media men of the day, Walter Winchell, was a great and close friend of J. Edgar Hoover. So he was kind of like, he was the media guy of his day. So he controlled the media, and they can manipulate and spin the story the way they want to spin it. Just like Malcolm X said, the media is the most powerful entity on the planet. What is the mob? If you think of the mob with some Italians and all that, you said the mistake. It was the government that killed Kennedy. They the real mob. The mob was just like the hitman, the contract killers. They work for the government, man. The mob only exists because they passed prohibition law. And it was the real gangsters are the politicians. Never forget that. The politicians and the Wall Street folks run stuff. The banksters run stuff. Those are the real gangsters. You know, the Sam Giancana and all them had to answer to the goddamn government. Frank Costello, all them guys had to answer to those politicians. It was proven on December 8th, 1999, that the government killed Dr. King in a civil court trial in Memphis, Tennessee. December 8th, 1999, the U.S. government was found complicit in the assassination of Dr. King. And that was proven in a U.S. civil court in Memphis after a 30-day court session. They proved that. It's documented. Like I said, get Dr. William Pepper's book, The Plot to Kill King, to get the conspiracy behind the conspiracy. Dr. King knew he was a marked man anyway, according to some of his confidants. Like, I'm going to keep on saying this because repetition is the key to learning. Reverend Albert Sampson said that back in August of 1966, that Dr. King called a meeting with his top lieutenants of the SCLC, and he told them that in January of 1966, that a black FBI agent from California told him that the government was going to kill him. He knew that 2 years before he was popped, that he was going to be a dead man. So the government kills all his own. They killed Malcolm. They killed the Kennedy brothers. They always kill their own. This system eats its young. Yeah, the government is the mob, though. I'm just trying to say the mob is not the mob. I mean, the Italians, like, it's like when people talk about the Italian mob, but they don't want to talk about Jews. The Jews ran the mob. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were the financiers. You think about Meyer Lansky, you think about Mo Dalitz out in Las Vegas. You know, Waxy Gordon, the Bronfmans up in Canada, the Purple Gang in Detroit. You know what's interesting about Kennedy? His father was the first chairman of the SEC, the Security Exchange Commission. And he was one of the biggest inside traders on Wall Street. But he was the first chairman of the Security Exchange Commission. And people asked Franklin Roosevelt, why would you make a crook like him, put him in that responsible position? And Franklin Roosevelt said, it takes a crook to catch a crook, supposedly. It said, it takes a crook to catch a crook. And they say that Joe Kennedy said, it's not a crime unless you get caught. And, you know, Franklin Roosevelt made the Irishman U.S. ambassador to England. He made him also ambassador to England. Yep, he knew he was a dead man. He knew he was not going to make it to 40. That's right. Dr. King knew that, like, they were going to kill him. He knew he had nothing to lose. That's why the last 2 years of his life, he was going in so hard on the government. Yes. Yes, the Ashkenazis. And I hear what you say. Yeah, yes. Oh, yeah, the mob did help the government during World War II on the docks on the East Coast. Lucky Luciano is how he got out of jail. But y'all know it was a black woman that put his ass in jail. Y'all know that, right? It was a black woman put his ass in jail, Eunice Carter, who was the first black woman lawyer, I think, in New York State, black DA anyway. She worked for Thomas Dewey, who ran for president twice in 44 and 48. And that's 44, 40? Yeah. But she was the one that put his ass in jail. She found the information. She started interviewing those prostitutes and started putting together the paper trail. And so Eunice Carter is an unsung hero. That's a power of black girl magic. Y'all, we should all know who Eunice Carter's name is. She was brilliant. And then she had a son who was a brilliant academic, and he wrote a lot of books. He wrote a lot of true crime stories and everything. Her son is still alive, and her husband was very accomplished. I mean, but Eunice Carter was a black woman that put Lucky Luciano in jail. And so we should know the name of Eunice Carter and celebrate the ancestor, because she did some dangerous work. Dewey did not like Kevin Costner. No, he did. Maybe Kevin Spacey. I don't know. Yeah, yeah. What Kennedy? What's that? Executive Order 111101 or something like that. Where he started printing the money through the Treasury Department or something. Because the Federal Reserve is not controlled by the federal government. Of course not. Joe Kennedy was a notorious bootlegger. I mean, he worked with the Seagram family, the Bronfmans. Yes. I mean, he worked with Frank Costello. Why, we see the old footage of Bobby Kennedy grilling people like Sam Giancana and Jimmy Hoffa. They laugh and that shit because they know who his father is. And what people don't understand too, I'm telling you another thing that people don't know. Senator Joe McCarthy, the guy who was doing the Red Scare stuff during the 50s, we were calling everybody communists and stuff because some people were communists though. But Senator Joe McCarthy, the senator from Wisconsin, he gave Bobby Kennedy his first job on Capitol Hill. He was a lawyer for his special committee. Bobby Kennedy was. And he used to date all the Kennedy sisters. He was known for dating several other Kennedy sisters. He was real close to the Kennedy family. He was Irish Catholic, like the Kennedys. Ended up drinking himself to death. And you look at, like Donald Trump, who was his mentor? Roy Cohn. Roy Cohn was a big-time lawyer, a big-time mob lawyer. He was a homosexual, big-time mob lawyer. He was like, some people think he was a devil incarnate. And that was Donald Trump's mentor. I think that's his name, Roy Cohn, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Joe McCarthy drunk himself to death, but he was real close to the Kennedys. But he gave Bobby Kennedy his first job on the Hill. But I'm saying, like, that's why them gangsters were laughing at Bobby Kennedy when he was interrogating them, because they know the real deal about his family. Oh yeah, they want to put Bobby on their knee. Yeah, Roy Cohn was a big time. He was connected to the mob. Yeah, you're right. Roy Cohn was connected, man. Like Donald Trump, man, he had to be mob connected. He in construction. If you're in the construction in New York, you got to deal with organized crime people. That's how you make your money. That's how his father made money. Fred Trump, he got a lot of money from the government. They subsidized his business while he was building housing. He was using government money, but he was padding his pockets as well too. Because he got in trouble for it because President Eisenhower found out what he was doing in New York, where he was like putting in bids, but he was like overestimating the bid, and he'll get the contract, and instead of sending the money back to the government, he put it in his personal account. So they actually called him to testify, I believe, in the 50s about his business activities. But that's Donald Trump's father. That's how he built the family fortune. The government, corporate welfare. Government subsidized his business, and that's how the family fortune was made. Yeah, mob runs construction. John Gotti, Jacob Javits Center was built through the mob, of course. In boxing, Madison Square Garden was the center of the boxing world at one point. And there was a guy named Frankie Carbo who was a hitman for Murder Inc. He ran the boxing for the mob. They call him Mr. Gray. And like Sugar Ray Robinson, they wanted Sugar Ray Robinson to throw some fights. He wouldn't do it. So I don't know how he was able to get out of that. But look at Rocky Marciano, who benefited from that era. Rocky Marciano, he was undefeated. He was like the real Italian stallion. But he died in an airplane with the son of a very powerful mobster from Chicago who ran Iowa for the Chicago mob. So I'm not saying nothing about Rocky Marciano, but I think it's interesting that he never lost a fight. And that he's Italian American. That the person he shared that plane ride with, one of the people in that plane was the son of a very powerful mobster. So, yeah, Frank Cabo, they say he killed Bugsy Siegel, supposedly. Now, I believe that Bugsy Siegel actually was killed by his girlfriend's brother, who was a sharpshooter in the military. I think he beat up one too many times. Because, when Bugsy got hit in Beverly Hills, I actually went to the home where they killed Bugsy Siegel. He died on June 20th, 1947. But my understanding is that it was her brother that killed him in retaliation for him mistreating his sister, one of her brothers. Because she had a brother named Chick staying at the mansion where Bugsy was hit. He was there that night. And he had somebody sitting next to him. Well, people don't understand, Bugsy Siegel actually had one of his gangster partners named Alan Smalley, this Canadian Jew who got involved in Hollywood, lifestyle and ended up connecting with Bugsy Siegel. This guy named Alan Smalley was actually sitting next to Bugsy Siegel when they bust his head open with them shotgun blast. But they think Rocky Cabo did it, but I think that they would threaten Marciano's opponents and suddenly they would go down in the 5th round or something. The mob is a trip. Yeah. And also he was fighting people past their prime, of course, Joe Louis and Jersey Joe Walcott and all them guys, they were past their prime by that time. Not to take away nothing from him. They were past their prime, but yeah, he did help the help of the mob. And also they say he hit hard, but whatever, But it is what it is, man. I mean, everything, like what Donald Trump tells us, the game is rigged. The game is rigged. I see that I ran out of time. I want to thank everybody for listening and for being a part of this very important movement. Information is knowledge. Knowledge is king and queen and God of the universe. And I didn't get a chance to read all people comments on the chat. But I hope that the audio was not that bad, that it came through. This is yet to come. Yeah, Sonny Liston, I think he took a dive both times. That Phantom Punch, that second trial, or I say trial, that second boxing match with the Phantom Punch, where like Ali didn't really touch Sonny Liston. He just went down. Yeah, Sonny Liston was controlled by the mob. And the way he died is very interesting. Because he was scared of needles, but yet they claimed that he had needles in his arm, needle marks in his arm from shooting up heroin. But he was afraid of needles. Everybody who knew him knew that. And the people closest to him believed that he was murdered. Thank y'all for turning in, man. And I try to do the best I can, but feel free to support the cause. Like I said, you can donate, you can buy t-shirts. If you can see my t-shirt. Do whatever you want to do, but tell people about this podcast. We want to get to 100,000 subscribers. And yeah, the federal it was a special move. I never seen him move. Ali's still the greatest, man. I love Ali, what he stood for. Yeah, Tyson, man. Tyson one of the greats, man. I mean, people gotta understand Tyson was a monster in his prime, man. Liston did have power. Liston should be respected. Another person who could hit hard was George Foreman. Catch was doing some stuff, man. Joe Louis, I heard he had a hell of a hook. Yeah, this is crazy times. Thank you, brother Eric Kennedy, for tuning in, man. I'm worthy. I want to thank all y'all. Brother Dominique X, thank you so much for the encouragement. Brother Adam, I hope to see y'all again. I'm just glad y'all was able to receive it. Y'all, took this ride with me. Y'all took a chance on me. And I'm glad that your horse is paying off. Thank you, K Mac. I appreciate it. Divine love, thank you. I will try my best to keep it going, man. I had something else planned to talk about, but when I get excited, man, I know that people are benefited from this exchange. It really makes me happy. So let me get myself off this thing. I'm in the process of moving. I don't know really where I'm moving, but I plan on keeping it moving and making things happen. And I hope to stay blessed and encouraged with you all. Stay in touch, and hopefully y'all can keep on helping me elevate it to the next level as I serve you all. Good night, everybody. God bless. Thank you so much. We love you all madly. Keep on producing and pushing. Peace.